Good, good. I got it. No problem.
What's up, folks?
I
Time
have.
for another episode of Rebel Nerd Radio. This is episode, I don't know where we at. 217. And tonight we will be talking about the second story arc of the final season of the Clone Wars, playfully dubbed what did I call this thing?
The Martez Sisters arc.
Ahsoka and the Martez Sisters. Adventures with the Martez Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have some fun talking about that. We got a couple people in the chat already. We got Matt wanting to know what next week's topic is. You should be able to guess.
It's a mystery.
Not a mystery. We got Steve Spawn, aka Steve number 2. Taco Cat.
Hey, Taco Cat.
And we've got Brennan.
Hey, Brennan.
How's it going? And we have Brian. What's up, dork?
That's a fitting description, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here we are after, and we made it. No weather.
I know, shocking.
No weather.
I was just thinking about that today. It was customary that for like the last 3 months I had to do an episode, skip an episode, do an episode, skip an episode, and we've actually got 2 back to back. If you can believe that crap.
Do
shocking
2 episodes back to back. How do you like that?
I like it. We need to make it a regular thing. I'm tired of this crap.
Well,
I'm ready. I'm sorry. I'm ready for storm season to be over with.
I don't blame you. Storm season is no fun. No fun at all. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about the next arc of the Clone Wars. Brennan wants to know what happened to JD's beard. Well, I'm going to take a wild guess and say he trimmed it.
Just a little off the top. Just a tip.
Just a tip.
Just a tip.
Oh, boy.
No. It's hard to keep that thing through the summer because it gets like egregiously hot and it's just hard to deal with, especially since I work outside and I work in the heat and I work long hours. It gets to be a pain in the butt. And so for the cooler weather, I decided to shave it off.
Mine a little bit, not a
lot. I decided I shaved. Yeah, I got smooth.
But also, you might notice that JD's camera is not moving.
Yes. Yes, it's not moving. I finally figured out how to get it. Into regular Safari app mode instead of going into StreamYard. So I'm guessing that the auto focus or the auto tracking is somewhere in StreamYard. I need to figure out. Yes, I do. I have beard tan lines. I 100% do. I have actually a hard hat tan line too. So please excuse that because I shaved. I mean, I shaved everything down to skin. And it was much, much different, much, much cooler. And I haven't done that in over a year, so it was kind of weird. But yeah, I have a hard hat tan line. So yeah, you people will just have to deal with my weird beard tan line and my hard hat tan line.
Another thing that I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I noticed it. You are not wearing your glasses.
I'm not wearing my glasses. No, I'm not.
You're just going all kinds of different on us tonight.
I'm going all kinds of rogue on you people.
Yeah.
Hey, Joy.
Joy.
Joy's in the chat. Hi, Joy.
Hello, hello.
So, yes, I went all kinds of weird and rogue on you people. You will just have to deal with it.
You'll have to deal with it. So, do anything interesting or fun this week?
No, the girlfriend was setting up a charity fireworks stand in Wichita, so she was busy most of the weekend. I actually had a much needed chance to sit and relax a little bit until Sunday night came around. Then we did have weather Sunday night, and I had yesterday off. I had a complete rest period yesterday, so that was kind of fun. Got some much needed gameplay in with my dad. We've been, as some of you may or may not know, we enjoy Sea of Thieves on a regular basis, and yeah, yeah. We had an interesting encounter yesterday. We 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 were trying to end our voyages and cash in on our loot, and my dad is always the one driving the boat, so he's always the one behind the wheel. He's the one that drives the boat. I handle the sails and the cannons and mostly everything else, but he just likes to drive the boat, which is fine. It just gives us time to spend together, which is awesome. And so we had an interesting little thing happen yesterday. We were on our way to cash in our loot and trying to get the big and tall model contract. Hey, thanks, Matthew. How you doing? Woo! So yeah, we were
Imagine
headed
if
into.
the tracking was on still.
I can look. It's not moving. Holy shit! Yeah. So we were headed into port, and we ran into another boat. And they didn't attack us at first, but being a Sea of Thieves player, and if anybody's ever played Sea of Thieves before, you know that most of your encounters, very rarely do you have a good encounter with people that aren't aggressive in Sea of Thieves. And we were trying to steer out of the way last minute to get away from the other boat, and unfortunately, we drove right into the dock and beached the boat in part of the dock, and we were sitting ducks. So. Yeah, it was all kinds of fun. We got some of our loot. I fought the guys off while my dad traded in some of the loot, and we got a little bit of our money, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, it was since we hadn't played in a while, it was kind of an interesting encounter. So we're gonna try again on Wednesday and see if we can actually get something accomplished. So
Very cool.
but other than that, nope. Like I said, much needed time spent with dad on playing some games and setting up fireworks stands and trying to get a little bit of relaxation in, in a break when we're not actually doing something. When we're not doing something, when we're not doing something storm related or family related, it's hard to get downtime anymore. So, yeah. So, how about you, Steve?
Well, last week we finally recorded the second episode of Kryptonian Chronicles.
Yes, we did.
We had one of our patrons, Dave Brown, on with us as we were ranking actors of Superman movies. Well, and TV shows. Live action Superman actors. That was a lot of fun.
It was fun. And it was interesting to hear everybody's different opinions on who they thought was like the best or the better or who they enjoyed the most. It was interesting because our rankings, some of them were similar and some of them were completely off.
Yeah. So we were hoping to keep that momentum going with more episodes of the Kryptonian Chronicles. That was good. I can't remember if we had decided what our next episode's going to be.
The Death of Superman.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, Death of Superman.
The Death of Superman. Yeah, our next episode will be about the review of the, what was it, 1997 comic? Is that right? Did it come out in 97?
I think it was before 97. I want to say...
No, you're right. No, 93. I want to say 92 or 93. It was 92 or 93. But the 92...
95.
Was it? Because I was still...
No, okay, so the event... Okay, yeah, the event started in The event started in 1992. Superman number 75, which actually is the which is the death itself. That one was published in January 1993.
January 1993.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to be talking about that. I also recorded another episode of Comic Den with Spencer. We talked about, speaking of Spencer, there he is. Oh, his nose must have been itching.
Yeah, no kidding.
So yeah, Spencer and I Sunday did yeah, Spencer.
It's JD's younger brother, JP.
Yeah. This is JD and this is his brother JD. So yeah, Sunday we did another episode of the Comic Den where we talked about the comic book Infinity Gauntlet, which the movies Infinity War and Endgame are loosely based on. Very loosely based.
Notice the stress in his voice of loosely based.
Very loosely. But yeah, I did that, and so that was Sunday. Man, I don't remember if we did Kryptonian Chronicles. Wasn't it Wednesday?
Yes, Wednesday.
I don't know. But you can find that on the Patreon, which I will talk about here in a few moments. But also, Friday, I went and saw a movie that I've been waiting for. It's not Superman. That doesn't come out for another 11 days.
Yeah, right.
Or 10 days, actually.
10 days. 10 days.
Joy. Mirror Universe, JD. Bizarro JD.
There you go, Bizarro JD.
No, I went and saw a movie that I have been waiting for, but it's not Superman. I saw Megan 2.0.
Oh God.
Have you seen the first one?
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay. What do you mean, unfortunately? That movie's great. Now, here's the thing about Megan 2.0, though. So the first one had more a like horror slasher vibe to it. This one does not at all. There's really no horror slasher vibe to this movie. It is all like action.
I kind of felt like that was coming because the theme song for the most of the trailers was Britney Spears. So I kind of had a feeling that it wasn't going to be.
That movie was freaking hilarious. You've got to go see that movie.
I guess if you need a little bit of mindless fun, why not?
Let me tell you, this is all my own personal opinion, folks. So don't, just take this with kind of Joy.
I was going to say, I saw Joy's comments and I thought that's the way they were framing it.
Kind of, yeah. She's still kind of a bitch, but yeah, I mean, of all the movies that I've seen this year, I would actually put this in the top 5. Really? Yeah. I wouldn't say number 1. It's not number 1, but
how many movies have you seen this year?
What did we come up with, Spencer? I think like 19 or 20.
Oh shit.
And that doesn't include movies that I've seen more than once in the theater. That's just like single viewings. So, yeah, about 19 or 20.
Matthew.
JD 2.0. No, it's really hilarious. But
I have a feeling this
now, I think that's the last movie I will see in the theater until Superman, because that one Yeah, there isn't really anything coming out between now and Superman, but it was good. Yeah, other than that, just looking for another job, reading comic books.
Reading comic books and looking for work.
Yep. Getting ready for next week's episode of the Comic Den, where we will be talking about a Superman comic book.
Nice.
So, yeah. So yeah, other than that, that's been my week. What else we got going on? Let's talk about our no, Matthew, I was on the fence for a while, and I just decided I'm not gonna waste my time. I don't.
What was it? The Jurassic World I liked. The one they did after that, I think it was Dominion. Is that what it was?
Yeah, they all kind of mushed together. I can't remember.
They
what all
were,
of them were.
yeah, Dominion.
Like the first one that we saw with Chris Pratt, I liked.
Yeah, that was Jurassic World.
But yeah, I don't know. Some of them have been, very few of them have been really good, and most of them kind of suck. But yeah, there's a Star Wars movie coming out next year. There's a Supergirl movie coming out next year. There is a Spider-Man movie coming out next year.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
So anyway, there was Jurassic World was the first one with Chris Pratt, and then there was just Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and then Jurassic World Dominion, I think. And then there's Rebirth that's coming out. Now Dominion, I thought Dominion was okay because they brought the original cast back, and it was all right. The premise of it was okay. That one wasn't too bad. That one wasn't too bad. It was pretty good. Now Fallen Kingdom, in my opinion, was horrible.
If I'm thinking that Fallen Kingdom is the one I'm thinking of, yeah, that one was ass.
Yeah, it was. In my opinion, it was terrible. I mean, maybe other people thinks it was good, but yeah, it was horrible.
All right, let's talk about social media. Where can you find Rebel Nerd Radio? Well, there is one link. You don't have to remember a whole bunch of links because we just got one for you.
Yeah.
It is bio.link/Rebel Nerd Radio. And if you click on that, it will take you here. Got all our social media icons there at the top where you can find us. The Twitters and the TikTok and the Instagram and all that other bullshit. And then the important links are down at what I call the important links are down here in the big section. Got our link to the most recent episode on YouTube. We've got our Patreon link, which if you're not already a patron, what? Wait a minute.
What are you doing with your life?
What needs more nut?
Apparently, we need more nut.
We need more nut. Well, there's nut for you. Okay.
Nut.
So, if you're not already a patron, it's only $2 a month. Helps us pay our bills, and you get the exclusive content that. At this point, it's really just us playing role-playing games. You get the early access content, such as the Batcave and the Kryptonian Chronicles. And when we do our next episode of X Talk, that will be on there as well. So you will get that before anybody else is able to see it on YouTube. In addition to that, you will get stickers. So we've got these stickers right now. I did just place an order for some more of these. Actually, let me get this. Get that. Okay. I placed an order for more of these because we're going to need more when we go to Rebel ScumCon, which is, how many days away is that? Shit. We were supposed to do a countdown.
No shit. Uh,
hang on.
just a little over 30 days.
No, not 2024.
Oh,
38 days. It is 38 days until Rebel Scum Con. So I ordered some more of these because we need a lot more for that, so I can pass them out. But also, my wife reminded me that she can make stickers with her vast arts and crafts enterprise stuff that she's got going on.
nice.
So I'm gonna get her to make the other stickers. In other words, the stickers with the other designs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to do a whole bunch of those because I'm actually going to do those as patron only stickers.
Mm.
So when I get those put together, yeah, we do. When I get those all made, then I will send them out to our current patrons, and you will get your stickers.
Way to show your age, Matthew. Because God, I remember that. I remember that.
I do remember that was a great movie.
I want my $2. $2. I want my $2. Yeah, that was a good movie. That was a good
and then this third one here is where you can go and click to get to our merchandise page, so you can get all the cool T-shirts and coffee mugs, and those are the main things. Most of them are turned off because they're
Speaking of which, I wish I could get my shirt in a second. Anyway,
got to make sure. I got to make sure that I get a shirt before we go to Rebel Scum Con.
Mm-hmm. I got one of the old ones. I do too. I need to get one of the new ones.
Yeah, I'll have to get
I definitely need to get one of the new ones because I'm not.
We got to get the same one so we can be Twinkies. Twinkies. And then that last link, that one's a lot of fun. That takes you to our Discord. And we have a lot of fun on Discord. Discord's fun.
Matthew, if you come to Rebel Scum Con, you'll actually get to hang out with us. That's better than a sticker, but we'll still give you a sticker.
I don't know if that's better, but
I disagree completely.
Anyway, so yeah, come to our Discord. JD, why don't you tell them about our Discord?
So let's just say for a moment, let's just ponder for a moment. If you're not part of our Discord, but you do enjoy what we do, what you see, and what you hear here at Rebel Nerd Radio on YouTube, you should really come and join our Discord. And I think most of the people that are in our chat right now are in our Discord. But you should really come and join our Discord because the shenanigans, the squirrel moments, the conversations, the fun talk, it continues over in Discord on a daily basis. You get your daily dose of good mornings from everybody in the chat, from the very great community that we have. You have places where if you have something you need to promote, you can also do that. If you have movies or TV shows you want to discuss or talk about that other people have seen, we have places to do that. You even have places that you can send people just miscellaneous pictures of your own pets, and everybody gets to enjoy the cuteness of your personal family, friend, or animal. So if you're not part of our Discord, please become part of our Discord. It's a lot of fun, and you get to have conversations with not only us, but other people as well. It's always a lot of fun.
Yes, Discord is a lot of fun, and it is very fan listener driven.
Yes. We're in there too. I mean, we're there too. But
we're
fans and the people that are part of our community, they really do drive the conversations and stuff like that. But we're also in there, and we get to have a lot of fun and talk to one another. It's the best place to get a hold of us if you have questions about Rebel Nerd or Star Wars collecting, and we'll talk about anything. We don't really care. We talk about X-Men. We'll talk about Superman.
Let me look at our channels. We've got one just called Shenanigans, which is kind of a free for all. That's free for all. We got a movies channel. We got a TV channel. We got a music channel. We got a books and a separate comic books channel. We have a gaming channel. We have a food channel. We have a pets channel. That's where you can post all your kitty cat and puppy dog and lizard pictures. There is a highly underused sports channel.
Can't imagine why. Can't imagine why.
There is a promotion channel. That's where you can go and promote your own little projects. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Now, in addition to all that, on the patron side of things, you get the stickers, you get the exclusive content, you get the early content. You also get to hear your name called out on our show, as we are going to do right now. So, we would like to give a thanks to Dave Brown, Kelly and Chris Olson, Justin Hensley, Charlie Kirby, Chantel, Matthew, Steve Spawn, Brennan, Choco Cat, and Brian, who was in the chat. I don't know if he's still in here, but thank you all for supporting us. Yeah, you got that right, Matthew. The sports channel is lonely. Well, I mean, hockey season is over, so there isn't really much to talk about.
But we're not too far from football season.
And the Chicago White Sox are in the gutter, so I don't really want to talk about that. Joy just said that she posted a puppy photo in the pets channel, so I'm going to go look at that.
I saw that.
Aww. It's a cute puppy. So, yeah, there are a lot of pictures of my cats in there.
Spencer apparently is doesn't care for the sports channel.
That's all right.
That's okay. That's okay.
Matthew says that we need some patches.
I think we have a friend in New York. The patch that we took to Japan, we're going to have made into a generalized Star Wars patch for me and my girlfriend's cosplay, which I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for my robe to be done. It's the material is there. The old robe is there. It's just waiting to be done. So that way I can get that stuff done. So, but yeah, we're talking about having an embroidered patch done for ours too. So that'd be cool.
Yeah. I wonder, I don't know if TeePublic does patches. I can't remember if they do or not. Yeah, I don't know. I'll look at it. I'd have to log in because I haven't logged in a while. Yeah, patches. So there you have it. That is our social media and plug for our Patreon. But seriously, I mean, it's only $2 a month, folks. It's like, come on. I could afford it. Wait a minute. Am I a patron of my own show? I don't think I am. Can I be a patron of my own show? I don't know how that works.
Oh, you could, but I think that's the other I think that how they have the definition of insanity is A. That would be the definition of insanity B.
I mean, yeah, if you think about it, it's like what? I mean, I'd basically be paying myself. Like, I'm putting money in to just take it out and pay for my.
I have a so for you those who don't know who's going on in the background, I have an Amazon driver at my doorstep, and my dog is going crazy because he wants to go say hi to everybody.
Of course he does.
Yeah, of course he does. So yeah, that's why I'm trying to get my dog to calm down.
So as soon as we're done there, we've got the other next segment to introduce that I know you're all waiting for.
I got real world problems. Sorry.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
All right. It is time for us to show our
Our
things.
things. We still
Show
need to
our
get.
things.
We still need to do. Get our Patreons back on and try to record that again because it did not turn out well last time. So we really need to do that.
So Taco Cat just posted some blasphemy in the sports page.
Uh-oh.
Posting your Cub stuff. Come
Ooh.
on, man. Okay.
Oh
So it's
God, here we
time
go.
to show our thingies. I'm sure you have something.
Oh, of course I do.
I actually have something.
I actually have stuff in my pile of show me your thingy stuff that I left over from Japan that I still haven't showed yet.
I just have one thing that I don't know. I don't know where my wife bought this, but apparently it's a picture and it lights up. But it's very
Nice.
Hold on, wait. It's not Star Wars related, but it
That's
is
okay.
very Steve related. If you know,
Nice.
so it's a big old painting of popcorn buckets, and yeah, it says this art lights up. There's a try me button. Hang on. Wait a minute. Maybe I don't know if there's a battery in here. Of course not. How am I supposed to try you if there's no battery? So there we go. That's
pretty cool.
I was at Walmart earlier today, and I came so close to buying some Star Wars stuff. I was in the clearance section. I don't remember why I was in the clearance section. I just wandered in there. And they had these toys called Mashables. Have you ever heard of them?
Yes.
They're action figures that you can take their arms off and like combine them with other. Anyway.
Let me guess. You found the Boba Fett one.
There was a Boba Fett one, but there was also a Darth Maul one. And I almost bought both of them. And I took them off the shelf and I started to walk away, and I was like, yeah, I just need to save my money because I just can't be spending money the way I used to because my job.
Yeah.
I'm underemployed, people. Yes, Joy, let's all go to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Anyway, can you take off Darth Maul's legs? I believe you can. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of.
You pull up that picture. I'll be back. Just give me 1 second.
Okay. What was it? What are they called? Mashables? I think they're Mashables. I want to say they're called Mashables. Mashable action figures? It's not coming up when I Google it. Mashers. They're called Mashers. Okay. All right. Let's see. There we go. Well, that is not what I saw at the Walmart. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the thing that I saw, you can take off the arms and the legs, and I think you can take off the head. I couldn't find them online. Yeah, so you can take off the arms, legs, and I think you can take off the head. So you can have like Darth Maul's torso with Boba Fett's head. I was just like, but those were the only two they had. They only had Darth Maul and Boba Fett. But yeah, I didn't get them. They were fairly cheap. They were only like $7 a piece. But yeah, I can't be spending the money. What do you got for us? Whip it out. Show me thing.
Whoa. No, this is it right here. This is all I got. It's shaved. No. No,
That was his show me his thingy. He was gonna
yeah.
show his new.
I actually I found stuff. I already had this sitting out ready to go because I want to get it out of the box. It's been sitting in the box way too long. But I did find that I do still have some stuff that I need to show from going to Japan and stuff like that. So
Good
I'll
Lord, you're
get
still
some.
catching up with that?
Yeah, it's just a few small things. It's nothing real major, nothing real serious. It's just some small stuff that I forgot, but that I want to show. And then we actually did what we did was is we my girlfriend who's really good with crafts. She was actually we bought a photo album kind of thing, but it's for like say like Pokemon cards and stuff like that. And we put together, and I want to show this to everybody when I get a chance.
So what you're
We
saying is
actually
today's thingy is small.
it's and this one's actually, I mean, it's
Today
pretty good
you've got a
size.
small thingy. Okay.
Good. No, this thing really isn't small. But yeah,
You
so
said
we
you
put
had a
all the
small thingy.
we all we have this thing that has all these stickers and patches and everything that we got from the Japan from all the people that we were there with. So now that I have it all organized, and actually she has it all organized and put together, I kind of want to show that off and show some of the swag that we got while we were there. So it's really cool. But what I got here was something that was available during May the 4th celebration this year, and I got it off of Disney.com or Disney's Disney store. But what I purchased was, and I have not opened this yet. Like I said, I've been waiting to open it. It's actually the Empire Strikes Back 45th anniversary Yoda figurine.
Oh heck yeah.
So yeah, so I'm gonna open this. Get this.
That movie was a great iteration of Yoda.
Yeah.
He was one of the best characters in that movie.
Yeah,
Mine, I'll
he's
help you not.
yeah, he's I mean, we're gonna talk about Ahsoka later, but I would say he's in my top three of my most favorite characters in Star Wars. When people ask me about my favorite characters in Star Wars, he's in my top three. So, so I get this out of here.
Battle Droid 1, Battle Droid 2, Battle Droid 3.
What? Oh,
No.
let's see. This actually is pretty. This is not a small thingy. This is actually decently sized. Oh, this is cool as crap, dude. Holy cow.
So it's very big and very green.
And very big and very green. But look at the detail on it, though.
That's nice.
Yeah.
JD's got a moldy thingy.
I got a big thingy. I got a moldy green
A
thingy.
big moldy thingy.
I have a moldy thingy. But yeah, so that's it. That's the 45th anniversary statue. And it's actually really good detail. And limited edition of they only made 1,200 of these. They
I
actually
thought you were about to say they only made 12. I'm like, oh damn.
no shit. No, they only made 12. They only made 1,200 of these. So yeah, they're already sold out. They're already gone. But yeah, I was that's been sitting in my pile for a while. See how I run? Yeah, and yeah, so I was finally able to get it out. I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty stinking neat, if you ask me. Yeah, check that out right there. Oh,
Is that all you had to show today?
yeah. I'm
Okay.
still showing it technically. I'm still showing it technically. But yeah, so yeah, Master Yoda himself in all his greenness.
Mine, or I will help you not. So, yeah, I keep getting notifications on this fucking thing on my phone. I thought I turned them off. God damn it! I don't hear that thing beep every time.
It
Anyway.
doesn't say. It doesn't tell me what out of 1,200 that I actually got, so it's not labeled as far as like one of or two of or whatever.
$11.99.
Yeah, I got 1,199. So yeah, but yeah, so yeah, pretty darn cool, I think.
Very cool.
Nope, doesn't say.
You know, Joy, I think I've only had one dog in my lifetime that was one of those small types, like in that picture. Oh no, I take that back. I had two. One of them was a what is that breed called? Shih Tzu. I had a Shih Tzu that did not look like your typical Shih Tzu, because every time I see pictures of Shih Tzus, they all look like they got ponytails and stuff. And well, yeah, he did not look like your typical Shih Tzu. And then the other one was a Jack Russell Terrier. He was a good dog.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Shrek.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had one of my favorite ones, and I like ours. We have a black lab right now, and he's 9 years old. That's Max. That's the one that was fussing
If
at
I
the
was going
door.
to have a dog, it'd be a big one like that.
Yeah, and I love it. I love him to death. But the problem with him is that he is. Every time I try to eat like Hawaiian rolls or like bread on like with butter on it or something like that, he has to have some. He has to have a little bit of what I have. And so
So
unfortunately I give it to him and he kind of looks like he looks like a big black tater tot. And he thinks he's a 20-pound lap dog. So he'll crawl up in my chair with me when I'm watching TV and he'll lay on top of me and he weighs just under 100 pounds. So I'm a big guy, but damn,
yeah.
my life has been a series
So
of dogs.
Joy says that her life has been a series of dogs, and each is smaller than the next.
I never used to think much of small dogs, but I'll tell you what, I had a purebred Boston Terrier at one time, and I loved the crap out of that dog. He was not afraid of anything. He was 25 pounds of just absolute terror if you messed with him. But he was such a cute dog. Him and I got along great. He's a good dog. He died because he had problems with allergies, which I guess is pretty common for those dogs.
So I had a Keeshond, which isn't typically is not a smaller dog. This one was small because he was a baby. But unfortunately, he died because he had parvo.
That's pretty common in dogs, I hear.
Yeah. Matthew says his son has a Chorky.
A Corky? My neighbor. We have a neighbor out here. I live out. For those of you who don't know, I live out in the country. I have 5.5 acres, and I live out in the country on a dirt road. And we have neighbors that are about a quarter mile down from us, and they have corgis. And the corgis love to go from their house to ours to hang out with our dog and to play and to be loved on by us. And they come over all the time. So yeah, cute
Joyce
little dogs.
says my dogs need to be portable and packable. Okay, well that makes sense.
Things like leave the country by air travel and usually have a weight limit of 15 to 20.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
But you were mentioning the dog that eats bread.
Yeah, my dog Max.
This one here will eat bread. We cannot keep bread on the counter. We have to hide it in the cupboards because this one here will eat all of your bread.
Come on.
If you make a sandwich on the counter, anytime you move in that kitchen, you have to take that sandwich with you because she will eat it. This one here, by the way, this is Princess Leia. This is my cat, Princess Leia. And
everybody say hi to Max.
Hey, Max.
Say hi to Max. Say hi, Max. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
What are you talking about?
He's like,
and then of course,
hey, look right here. Look right here. No, not lick my face. Look right there. Look at that. Look right there. See, look, there he is. That's the way. Good dog.
She's well bred.
Yeah, no kidding. Yes. Are you saying hi to everybody?
And since we're showing off kitty pictures, I'm going to go ahead and show this one too.
Oh goodness.
This is a famous one.
No, nice.
That is Poppy when she, of course, was a baby. We were living in Michigan at the time. She and our other, the other little one is Andor. He is our orange one, but they are litter mates. But I was actually, I think I was working. I'm pretty sure I was working, and she climbed up on my shoulder. She was just like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna hang out here." And I like her picture. Yeah, we love our kitties. Um. Anyway,
we do have a couple cats. We have most of them are my girlfriend's. I have one that I rescued. He's part bobcat and he's part domesticated cat, so he's like huge.
okay.
But the rest of them are cats that we have that my girlfriend rescued, but we have outdoor cats like barn cats that we keep outside, and they kill the mice and the rats, which I
Oh
love them
yeah,
for that.
yeah, no,
They're great for that, especially in the country. I mean, that's kind
yeah.
of a must have.
There are like bigger rodents in the neighborhood here, like
Uh-huh.
gophers, moles, and there's another type of rodent, like ground rodent, that shows itself around. And I can't place what kind of rodent it is. But yeah, our all of our neighbors know our cats because they take care of those rodents. But yeah, we have 5 cats. We have Princess Leia, which you if you are a regular of the show, you've seen Princess Leia on the show. Uh, you've equally seen Earl on the show, and then his brother Max, which he doesn't really hang out in this office that much, so you don't see him too often. And then Poppy and Andor. But yeah, all right. Enough talking about kitties and dogs. We got
But like we were talking earlier, people, this is if you're on our Discord, you can be a part of these kind of conversations regularly on our Discord because we talk about this stuff in Discord. So
yes,
yeah.
yes. But now we are going to talk about the Clone Wars, specifically the adventures of Ahsoka and the Martez sisters.
Hmm.
So this was in the final season. That was a big squirrel, wasn't it, Joy?
Hmm. That was a good
Um,
scroll. I might have to drink more of my beer.
so real quick synopsis here. First episode of this one, which was the 5th episode of the final season. It was called Gone with a Trace. Ahsoka has left the Jedi Order, of course, and she goes into the lower levels, of course, and crashes her speeder, and then meets the Martez sisters. And the biggest thing about that was they had these droids that they were working on, the Martez sisters, and one of them goes wild, and Ahsoka helps it not fall. I don't know. It's yeah. It was like about to fall off this ledge and hurt some people, and she helped it.
Hmm.
And so episode 6 is called Deal No Deal, and that is when they all go to Kessel and get some spice, and they're supposed to deliver it to the Pikes, but they have an argument on the ship, the Silver Angel, and Trace, who is one of the Martez sisters, jettisons the shipment, and then they get to the Pikes, and the Pike, they try to double cross the Pikes, but they get caught, and then they all get captured. And then the next one, episode 7, Dangerous Debt. It continues their imprisonment by the Pikes, and they try to escape, and we get a very brief glimpse of some Mandalorians, and then they all get recaptured. So it's not a whole lot happens in that one. They try to escape. They get recaptured, and then the last episode of this arc is called Together Again, and Ahsoka makes this deal with the Pikes that lets the Martez sisters go, and so Ahsoka is put back in prison, but she escapes and tries to place a bunch of explosives. But then she gets captured again, and then the Martez sisters come back, and they all find out that Ahsoka's a Jedi, and Ahsoka blows up the facility, and they finally are able to escape. Um, and this is when they meet Bo-Katan, and they all get back to Coruscant, and they meet. That's when they meet Bo-Katan, and she convinces Ahsoka they have a common enemy, and then she leaves to go to Mandalore uh, to help out Bo-Katan and her crew. Uh, so, real brief synopsis. Um, what do you think? What do you think of the story arc? I know some were not real crazy about this particular arc.
I can kind of see why. There wasn't a whole lot with this story arc. I mean, it was just basically like I think it was more of a everybody kind of wanted to see what happened to Ahsoka after she
Mhm.
left the Jedi Order. So this was more of a, her going into the world and realizing that once you're outside of the order and once you're doing things outside of the order, that everything is not cut and dry. Everything's not there's not a defining line. And I think there's a couple things I want to hit on it that I thought were interesting and I thought did have something to do with her kind of development as a character. But really, I mean, like I said, it was more or less just her trying to fit in outside of the Jedi Order and trying so hard to not be a Jedi anymore or not let people know that she was a Jedi whilst just being herself, which is being, I mean,
Being
she was a
Ahsoka.
Jedi. She was being Ahsoka, and she was being a Jedi, but she was trying so
I
hard not
mean,
to be. I think.
you got to think that like you've been a Jedi pretty much your whole life,
Hmm.
and you've been in this, very uh, religious, tight, tight knit, very serious. Uh,
Very training and education latent
yeah,
things for
very
your
very
entire life. Very
strict
strict code of
code.
conduct.
You've lived by this strict code all your life, and then all of a sudden you're not anymore. So
Hmm.
how do you deal with that? So I think this story arc kind of focused a lot on that. Um, her just handling her life outside her life as a Jedi. Um, Now we're going to come back to Ahsoka specifically, but I have a question that kind of fits into the whole general overview of the story arc. Like, do you feel like these episodes served a purpose in the larger Clone Wars narrative? And if so, how so?
Well, no. If I had to say, as far as the larger Clone Wars narrative goes, no, not really. I kind of felt like this was more of a just kind of getting, kind of showing Ahsoka more just specifically about Ahsoka. Basically, I think these episodes were just to kind of show what she did, what she was about, what happened to her afterwards, because people were always asking that question once she left the order, where did
Yeah,
she go? What did she do? And I think these episodes were more or less meant to answer those questions. And I think that because of everything that she did with the Jedi, you could almost call it. I mean, like I said, I'm a pro. Obviously, I'm a pro Jedi advocate. But the thing is that I think that she realized that everything that she had done, all the training that she had received, everything that she was being part of the Jedi, and I think that's what I think. And maybe you know what? Maybe it does kind of a little bit go to that because. Um, eventually, which we're going to talk about in later episodes, she does return to the order to help out,
Right.
to try to convince her to come back.
See,
And I think this kind of showed her that trying to be out in the world and not be a Jedi was harder than just staying and being a Jedi.
right.
And I,
So jumping on that, that's kind of fits into why I think to a small extent it does fit in the larger narrative, because it tells us how Ahsoka gets from A to C.
yeah,
And although to a certain extent these could be considered filler episode, uh
well, and
if
another thing, something I was going to hit on. Go ahead, and then
well, what I was going to
I'll
say
express my
is
point.
if we went, okay, let's put it in this context. If we went from Ahsoka left the order straight to Ahsoka went to with the Mandalorians to Mandalore to help fight Maul, there'd be a big gap. Like, wait a minute, how did this happen? Why did this happen?
Mm-hmm.
Why is Ahsoka with the Mandalorians? Why is Ahsoka fighting Maul now? How did we get there?
Mm-hmm.
I just think it would be a big. I think what this is just a piece of a bigger puzzle, a very small piece.
Yeah.
But even if it wasn't this particular story, there needed to be a story.
Mm-hmm. And I guess if you look at it in that way, then it does enhance the significance of the story. Because to me, when I first watched it, I was kind of like, man, I'm just having a hard time with it because I'm just like, yeah, it's
No, I get
okay.
that. I get
It's
that.
okay. It's okay. And there was a few lessons to be learned. There's a few things that really stuck out to me on this. And one of the things that I was going to talk about this, one of the things that stuck out to me the most about this is that it felt like that for me, it felt like when the Martez sisters are sitting there telling their story about what happened with the Jedi and how their parents died. And then they said, Ahsoka kind of comes to the realization that not everybody sees the Jedi in the same way as the,
Yeah.
keepers of peace, as defenders of justice, all this kind of jazz. It makes it to me that little tidbit of information. It might be almost a hidden gem type thing if you think about it, because it kind of accents how and why when the Jedi eventually fall and the Jedi go away, how some people just didn't care or were happy about it.
Yeah.
They really didn't fight for
Right.
they didn't come to the Jedi's defense and say, no, the Jedi are good, the Jedi are this, the Jedi are that. They actually were like, I don't care about the Jedi because the Jedi, this happened to me because of the Jedi, or the Jedi did this to me, or the between
Right.
the trying to recruit the kids to go in and be Jedi, or the Jedi did something that had a negative effect or negative impact on their lives.
Right. You get a glimpse that the Jedi are not heroes to everybody in the galaxy. And this is a good example.
And the weird, and I mean, normally we don't make parallels, and I'm not making a political parallel, but a lot of people, it kind of has like real world applications because, like, say, police officers, for instance,
Right.
not everybody sees police officers as being good.
I'm actually going to circle back in a little
Okay.
bit about
Okay.
politics,
Oh God.
and not politics as in our politics. I'm
Oh,
going to circle
okay.
back to that. I'm going to circle back
Okay.
to that. But
Okay.
I did want to, because we kind of segued into it already, Ahsoka and the story she's hearing about how people feel about the Jedi. So you kind of see, at least I felt like you kind of see not only her worldview change, but also her opinion of the Jedi Order itself change. Like, it's already changed because they're the ones that put her in prison. So she's already kind of got some spite
Mm-hmm.
to the Jedi.
Right.
But this further cemented like this whole change in worldview and change of this idea, like we said, that not everybody likes the Jedi. They don't care. Some of them don't even like them at all.
Well, it's not
And
unlike us.
and
I mean,
right,
I mean, I'm an advocate of the Jedi, but I'm an advocate of Ahsoka Quinn, or I'm an advocot of the Ahsoka Jedi, the Qui-Gon Jinn Jedi, the ones that
Anakin
break
Skywalker,
from,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
not necessarily Anakin. No, for sure not, for sure not. No,
What are you
I'm
talking
more,
about?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, I'm more of the fan of the rogue ones, the ones that kind of, and even like Luke Skywalker, because he wasn't raised in the traditional manner,
right,
but he still maintains that good side of the light, and he still claims to be part of the Jedi Order, even though he wasn't traditionally trained like that. And
right.
Ahsoka kind of followed her own path. Qui-Gon Jinn kind of followed his own path, and he kind of broke from the Order. And you and I have talked about this, like when we talked about the Jedi versus the Sith. We talked about like Qui-Gon Jinn in the Living Force novel and all that kind of stuff when we talk about those things. Um, Qui-Gon Jinn kind of felt like that, and we kind of seen it a little bit in the Acolyte, that some of the Jedi felt like that they were not doing what they should have been doing, that they were kind of deviating from what their original purpose was, because they were getting into politics, because they were getting into war, because they were getting into things that they shouldn't have, and they were not focusing enough on things that they should have been as keepers of the peace and justice, and these do-gooders that we thought they were. Because if you think about it, the Jedi, if they were in pursuit of somebody and that ship crashed and killed the Martez sisters' parents, then the duty of the Jedi would have been to see that they were properly placed, they were taken care of, somebody was able to take care of them, because they would have felt like, hey, we're a little bit responsible for this. We kind of caused this. We need to be responsible. Um,
Joy
but
says no organization
nevertheless,
is completely immune to corruption. That's true.
100%, 100%. I mean, there's bad apples and everything, and that is literally part of the human condition, and something I think is much needed in Star Wars a lot more. And I think they're doing that. If you look at like Andor, if you look at the Acolyte, if you look at Obi-Wan, if you
Hmm.
look at like a lot of it, they bring in a lot of what the real human condition is. It's not all everything's black and white. There's a dividing line right in between, and you stand on one side or the other. It's not always that way.
Right.
And I'm glad that they're kind of accenting that with these stories that they're coming out with.
But
And
I can't help I can't help but think like what Ahsoka was going through because live your whole life. She's what? By this time she's what, like maybe 15, 16 years old?
yeah, I'm
Ish.
not sure about their living age for the species. I can't remember. I can't
I
remember if
just
they
I
live
just
longer than
mean
humans.
actual years, but
Yeah, because
um
I think she was not quite ready for the trials, but she was getting real close.
yeah. So
Yeah.
but yeah, you live your entire life by a certain code and then you realize that these people you looked up to all your life are just kind of not the greatest people.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
um
Yeah. I agree with that comment, Joey. Life is rainbows, not black and white. It's definitely a spectrum. It's
yeah.
definitely a spectrum, and nobody has pure one or the other. Anybody who claims to be pure good or pure, or even pure evil for that matter, I don't think that they really know what that means. And I think it's just a claim, and it's, yeah. I'm still a Jedi advocate. Sorry, Steve, I'll never be a Sith advocate. I'm always a
That's all
Jedi
right.
advocate.
It's okay to be wrong sometimes.
And
Um,
but at the same time, I know the Jedi aren't flawless, are not, they're not infallible.
right.
And that's the thing, is like I said, I think this is kind of where you get the whole idea that, why didn't more people, if the Jedi were everything that they said they were, and everybody saw them in that way, then when the fall of the Jedi happened, why wasn't there more people that rose up and fought for them? And it
Right.
may be because of that. It may be because they didn't feel as strongly about who the
Well,
Jedi were, or as strongly about the mission of the Jedi.
I get the impression that um, your regular average people in the galaxy felt like they kind of caused the war.
I think we talked about that, or there was somebody that mentioned that in one of the recent shows that we have watched. I think it might have even been one of these episodes that we watched, where they
I
said
think
that
it
they
was.
felt
I think
like,
it was in this episode because I think the Martez sisters actually thought that the Jedi caused the war.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
now
you could.
I want to jump back to what I was mentioning before, but
Okay.
um, Joy says, I think the Acolyte was going to expand on the themes. Probably. It seems like they were
Well,
getting there.
Joy, it really, it really did. It did expand on those themes. It's just people. I think it'll take a little bit of like cook time, but I think that people just were too busy. It was either too busy arguing over things or they were too busy trying to hate on it or whatever the case may be. People didn't actually take the time to break down the themes and actually look at it and see what was being said. But I do think that the Acolyte did address some of those issues and that those issues didn't happen just like during Obi-Wan's time or Qui-Gon Jinn's time. Those issues were ongoing from years before they even showed up, before they were even a thing. So yeah.
Um, what I
Taco
was
says,
going to say, oh,
Taco says, I'm sorry, not a Jedi fan, JD, but I'm a Sith Lord fan. That's fine. That's okay. I'm okay with it.
yeah.
I'm
So,
okay with it.
so a lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, you see it a lot on social media that people like to say that Star Wars isn't political. But even here in these episodes, although it's kind of hidden, unless you're paying attention, but there was kind of a, hey, Isaac, I don't think either one of us are your mom. But shit, what was I talking about?
Political.
Okay, so it didn't get so. Like I was saying, if you were paying attention, you could see they're kind of sliding in this idea of like socio-economic class struggle and inequality and poverty and like how the other half lives, like this whole, oh, all these topsiders, they're the one percenters, and we're down here, living in poverty and trying to, we're just living to survive. And we get to see this other side of Coruscant. We didn't really get in the other seasons,
Mm-hmm.
but they kind of slide in this, uh, for lack of a better term, I'm going to call it political. They kind of slide in this political message, even though it's kind of subtle.
I wouldn't call it like strictly political. I would say it's more like socio-political.
Yeah, socio-political, but there's a
Socio-political.
message there. There's a message there that Dave kind of slid in there, and it's like,
Well, to say that Star Wars isn't political is crap because
that's true.
Star Wars has been political since it came out. I mean,
Well, yeah,
you can try to say it's not.
It's
You
Star
can try to say
Wars. It's
you
Star
can try to say
Wars.
it's not all you want to, but the Empire, Darth Vader, all of those are direct reflections of characters throughout history that had been like tyrants or whatever. And
Exactly,
to say that,
Brian.
yeah, a bit of an average, yeah,
I love
100%, 100%.
Tina.
But yeah,
Tina.
Tina. No, Star Wars has had. I don't. But here's the thing that I don't think it does. I don't think it nails down like specific political, socio-politicals, political, socio-economical. I don't think it hits on one specific like area or topic.
Right.
I think what it does is it takes the general climate of the world or past history events, and and like George Lucas did and Dave Filoni does now. I think they wrote stories that had to do with those. But the thing about it is that it seems like political, socio-political, socio-economical, a lot of those social psychological ideologies that it came up with, I think they are reoccurring things that happen all the time.
Right.
And which, because this was obviously written even before let's say the current political climate.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when people say, "Oh, it has to do with the politics of now," or depending on what side you're on, I don't necessarily think that's the case, because
Well,
I think that it just deals with, in general, topics that have come up in the past, and
you're right.
it's like
These are topics that are current throughout our own history.
yeah, well,
So,
they're past history, current history.
right.
I mean, they've been thinking, and I keep thinking back to all the comments that people make about it and stuff like that. I keep thinking back to that old phrase. There's an old phrase, if you remember it. I'm sure you've heard it before, Steve. It's if those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And I kind of think that's the overall hidden theme when, like, George wrote stories, and now Dave Filoni, is that if you don't learn from history, if you don't learn from what happened, or if you don't take, the the lessons learned from the mistakes that we've made in the past, we're just going to keep repeating those same mistakes, and it kind of shows up.
Yeah.
It kind of shows up that we have these political issues that have come up. They came up in 1977. They're coming up in 2025. It's one of them things where it's 50 years ago we had these issues, and then now, almost 50 years
Yeah.
later,
And
we're
this,
having the same issues. It's a message that we're not paying attention, and we're not learning from the mistakes that we've made.
right. So I'm not trying to get political for sake of being political. I'm just saying Star Wars is political, and Clone Wars is no, you know, Clone Wars is not hiding it. Uh,
Yeah.
Even though it was kind of subtle, I
Hmm.
kind of saw it and I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
But if you think about it, it's one of those things that it takes a maturity level to notice it.
that's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
because if you're a kid and you're just watching the show, you're just watching the baseline. But if
That's
you're a more mature audience and you're watching the show, you see it from a different perspective. And it's all about maturity, it's all about knowledge, it's all about experience, it's all about those kind of things.
And
And
it doesn't hurt that I was a political science major. So
well, and here's the other thing too. Here's the other thing too. Is it when they tell these stories, are they telling the stories and we're reading into it as the Martez sisters represent this,
right.
Ahsoka represents this, the Jedi represented this, and her struggle to not be a Jedi represented this. Are we seeing that because we notice it, or because we're
Ah,
seeing it, or is that actually being written into it?
that, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just something I see because of the way I am. But
Well, if you're a political science major, obviously everything that you see is going to have to do with politics,
I wouldn't
or
say everything. But yeah,
not everything, but you're going to notice it more than other people would.
I would say that a lot of times it is probably not as subtle to me as somebody else would. Oh, it's kind of subtle there. I was like, I think it kind of hits you over the head with it.
But
Um,
see,
you're
that might
right. You're
be
right, Tina. You're right. Okay. So this is what I'm getting at. The politics are, and this touches on what JD said. The politics are fairly broad. They're not
Mhm.
specific, but they are dealing with issues that everybody deals with. It doesn't
Right.
matter.
And if you're experiencing things like, say, in real world politics, whether it was now or whether it was when the show came out, if you're dealing with, like, depending on your political stance, your political situation, which we're not going to get into, it may hit a little differently because of current events. Let's just
Right.
say,
Right.
something that may have been like, let's just say, like the sequel trilogy, and when Hux is having the speech and it looks like a Nazi deal. That's what people saw, because I mean, I think that's what they were going for, but that's what they saw. But you didn't have to go far with the imagery in order to put people to go, I know exactly what they're trying to do with that. And Tina's right. It smacks you right in the face, because immediately your mind goes to
Yeah.
that and says, boom,
But
here's what it is.
like she's saying here, more often than not, it's not going to smack you over the head with it.
No, if you're a kid, let's say you're a young child who hasn't experienced things like you have or I have, or hasn't studied it like, say, you have, or doesn't pay attention to modern day politics like I do and you do, or Tina does, or whoever. Um, you're not going to notice it. You're not going to see it. It's just going to be two sisters that are living down in 1313 that has a ship that are just trying to make it, and you don't see the overall political tropes. But
they're just trying to survive.
if you're 40, 50, 60-year-old dudes who've seen these shows before and you live through some of this stuff, Tina's right. It's going to punch you in the face.
Yeah. Joy says the bad guys are literally called stormtroopers.
Yeah.
I mean, one could read into that, but okay. So yeah. As a kid, like I said, it's good versus evil, and that's as far as you need. Some of us just look into it too much, and that's probably not a great thing.
But see, that's why I'm a fan of the Jedi, because literally for me, when Star Wars first came out and I saw the first 3 movies, it was literally the Legend of the Jedi and Luke Skywalker carrying on that legacy, and it was good versus evil, and there was a defining line. It was good versus evil. That was it. Now, a lot of this new Star Wars, even something like this, those lines are skewed, and it becomes more like Joy said. It's more of a spectrum.
Yeah.
Because the Jedi, everybody doesn't see the Jedi as the good guys. And Ahsoka is trying to survive as a non-Jedi around people who don't see the Jedi as good people. And that's why she tries to hide herself.
Statement, Tina. As an adult, you recognize a lot of the undertones and themes in all forms of media. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But whereas you relate to the Jedi in that way, I think that might be why I kind of relate to people that are just simple men trying to make their way through the galaxy.
Yeah, it's the innocence. People miss the innocence, and I like Matthew's saying, I miss watching Star Wars as a kid. We only cared about the good guys, the bad guys, Ewoks, and the color of the lightsabers. 100%. I miss that. I miss the innocence of it. Yeah. I miss the innocence of not being involved in the politics.
Wait, what? That's not what I was trying to click. Okay, here we go. Gigi says, in the 70s, when George created it, what was the ultimate evil in the most recent history? That's what he knew. Yeah, I would say Vietnam, because that
I'd say World War II or Vietnam.
But Luke,
or even the Korean War.
Joy says that Lucas said the rebellion was the Viet Cong, but he said a lot of things, so not tell him. Okay, let's get off the political aspect of it. It's getting too serious.
I'll tell you right now, though, I am impressed that we managed to keep it a generalized conversation about politics and not get into like.
Right. We don't talk politics on the show.
We don't talk politics.
We don't talk politics in the Discord. There is literally no politics channel for a reason.
We are trying to keep it to where this is an escape from reality, depending on what your reality is. And we want to keep the politics out of it. So that's why it was such a generalized conversation, just dealing with politics, with how the stories affect our way of looking at politics or real world events. That's it.
Let's talk about the blockade and the legality of the banking plans.
Yeah, oh God, no.
Taxation of trade routes.
Oh no, let's not do that. Come on. Okay, moving on.
Moving on. I want to talk again a little more general about the episodes. These particular episodes, do you think the pacing, what did you think of the pacing? Did you think it was too slow or just about right?
Little slow. Little slow. Yeah. Because I mean, they escaped, they got captured again, they escaped, they got captured again.
Did we really need
all that?
2 episodes of them escaping and getting recaptured, escaping, getting recaptured? Did we really need 2 episodes for that? I don't think so.
I disagree with Matthew.
He remembers not liking these episodes.
I can see that. I mean, I watched them and I tried to pay attention as much as I could to make sure that, I got every aspect and every angle of it. But I can kind of see how that is, because I think I remember people saying that these episodes were real dry. And it was basically they were trying to get they were trying to move Ahsoka's story along after she left the Jedi, because everybody was real interested in what happened to her. So, yeah.
Okay, so here is the last talking point that I had written down in my notes.
Okay.
Okay, so the first arc we had the Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bad Batch got their own show. Do the Martez sisters deserve a return to Star Wars animation? Do they deserve not necessarily their own show, but more of their story?
No. I think they were a plot point for Ahsoka, which is fine. But really, I kind of found them boring. To be honest with you, I really kind of found the Martez. I hope they don't. I'm not saying that we don't need characters like that. I'm just saying that as far as those two is concerned, I kind of found it a little boring. And like I said, I think they were good.
That's right, Spencer. They were in Bad Batch, weren't they?
Were they?
I feel like. Oh my gosh! Now I got to look this up.
Was it like one or two? I mean, you might be right. It was like one or two episodes, wasn't it?
See, now I'm. Well, yeah, because don't they befriend Omega? Hang on.
Damn it.
Yeah, they were in two. They were in two episodes. Okay, they were in one episode of Bad Batch.
That's why I don't remember them.
They were in the 6th episode. Well, which season? Season 1. They were in the 6th episode of the first season. It was called Decommissioned. And
yeah, one episode in season 1, he says.
Yeah, so anyway, so Tina says this arc was not my favorite. I could have done without Martez sister stuff.
I really do think that they were just put in there to try to accent what was going on with Ahsoka. Yeah. I don't really think. I think their characters were specifically written and they were specifically put in there just to accent what was going on with Ahsoka. I think that's really.
Says not everyone needs their own story.
I agree.
Agreed.
I agree. And then he said something later too that said something about as they've shown over and over again, not everybody needs their own story.
But yeah, I actually I agree with most of the chat room and you, JD. I don't think they need their own show. I don't really care to see any more of them.
No. No. I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Said I remember them being there because I was like, why are these losers here?
God.
Matthew says they weren't very memorable.
So, yeah.
I think the consensus is that this is not everybody's favorite story arc. See, yeah, and Tina says they could have had Ahsoka do anything else after leaving the Order besides hanging out with those two.
Yeah. Like I said, I really think that these two were a character plot device specifically for Ahsoka.
Yeah, and I think Tina missed this earlier because it was at the beginning of our conversation, how I said how we were talking about how these episodes fit the overall narrative. And Tina, I had mentioned that we needed something to get Ahsoka from point A to point C.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happens that it had to be this.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
Meh.
That's just my overall opinion. It was just it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great.
Well, because you notice in the show that the one older sister talks about how quickly the other younger sister befriended Ahsoka. And I'm going, yeah, that was kind of quick that you're down there in the dreads, you're down there in 1313, and all of a sudden you just befriend somebody who crashed their bike, and one minute you're trying to charge them money and the next you're giving it to them for free. I'm like, what? And then this other sister comes in with this extreme.
He says, I don't like using the word filler or this filler.
Yeah.
Joy says, meh is a good summation.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Man, I was going to say something, and now I don't remember what it was. Uh, must have not been too important.
Yeah. I mean, what's the phrase that they say? What's the phrase? I can't even remember the phrase. Something about in order to get to the good stuff, you got to go through
Right.
the
Right.
layers
Oh
first.
no, I remember what I was going to ask. I've got a question. This
Okay.
is for you,
Okay.
and this
Okay.
is for everybody in the chat as well. Okay.
Okay. Lay it on
So,
me.
which story do you like better?
Oh God.
The Adventures of the Martez Sisters is A.
Okay.
B is the Book of Boba Fett.
Wait, hold on. Let me think. Book of Boba Fett. That was easy.
I go with Book of Boba Fett.
I definitely go with Book of Boba Fett. Well, to be fair, I mean, the Martez Sisters was only 4 very long, drawn out episodes, where the Book of Boba Fett was an entire series. Well, okay, no, okay, I take that back. The Book of Boba Fett was mostly an entire series, other than the minor skew of the Mandalorian
I'm just
2.5
saying the
that we got.
story overall. Which do you prefer?
Book of Boba Fett for sure.
Yeah, Joy has chimed in with Book of Boba Fett. So that's
Yeah.
3 votes for Book of Boba Fett. I don't think we're going to get any votes for the Martez Sisters story arc. So Tina said
Was Oscar.
Book of Boba Fett was Oscar worthy compared to that other shit. See,
Yes.
even DJ says reluctantly Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Tina, Book of Boba Fett. But Tina also said earlier, let me find it. Oh, here it is. They were annoying as hell. Yeah, I don't think we're getting a whole lot of love.
And we joke about Book of Boba Fett all the time. We talk about Book of Boba Fett. We even do the like a panther. We always do that all the time.
Fett. I don't care what anybody says.
I know. Seeing Boba Fett on the back of a Rancor, I mean, just did it for me. That was
Have
awesome.
we done a recap of that show?
I don't think so. I need to
you and
rewatch it.
I know we have. Like, in fact, DJ was the co-host when we did our Book of Boba Fett episode recaps. DJ was Nicole on the show with us at that time? I don't know. Tina says, I would rather watch 2 hours of OSHA flashbacks than this arc.
Oh, that's pretty sad. I don't think she liked the Acolyte either.
Yeah, DJ says, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I think she was. But yeah, you and I have never done a retrospective of Book of Boba Fett.
I know we've talked about it. We have talked about it before.
We joke about it
before. We joke about it. Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that's the badness of Star Wars, by which all Star Wars badness is measured. I liked that show though. But I vote Book of Boba Fett.
By far, yeah. We got a lot of. I would say we have a lot of Book of Boba Fett fans in the chat, but I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Just shows you
I
how
think it's
many
just
people
I
don't
like it more than the Martez Sisters. I am thankful though. I do want to thank everybody because the ending conversations that we're having about the Martez sister and the Ahsoka arc, we actually got people to come in, show up, and talk about it and joke about it and have a good time with the fact that we really didn't like this part of season 7. So, I mean, thank you. I want to thank everybody for showing up and being a part of that conversation. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
I would just like to say, I hope we're not offending any like hardcore Martez sister fans out there.
Hey, you know what? If you like the Martez sisters, if you like that arc, again, we are not judging, we're not hating. It's a restaurant. Yeah. You pick off the menu whatever you want. We're just giving our point of view in the most constructive way we can. And pretty much our overall, we can sum it up in one word, and it's meh.
Meh. Yeah. Meh. Okay. So, well, Tina says Book of Boba Fett was not all bad. They did make him a little dumb, though. Come on, man.
I'll be honest with you, and this will probably be the one of the things that I know this because this is a hot take on Boba Fett, and I know Steve's not going to care for my hot take on Boba Fett. Before Book of Boba Fett, before season 2 of the Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett to me was overhyped like you wouldn't believe. I never understood the hype behind Boba Fett. I never understood why he was such a popular character uh, until Mandalorian season 2. Then I went,
Now
hell
I'm
yeah,
going to
that's
go out
awesome.
and buy a smoking jacket just for that.
We don't need any chats about the Book of Boba Fett. Just these things from the fireplace words. Yes.
Joey says we're a Martez sister mutual disadmiration.
Society. 100%. 100%. But
You know
no,
what, Matthew? Who's got the wrench? We're kicking him out.
Boba's a lot more than. Oh, he wasn't there. You know what? I love Tamara Morrison. He's awesome. He's a great guy. He obviously his personality and his acting style did not fit the original Boba Fett. And that's where I think that everybody has kind of an issue of it. But it made sense that Tamara Morrison would come back and play Boba Fett because obviously he was a perfect clone of Jango. So it made sense that he would come back and play him. But I just think that Tamara Morrison has a much lighter-hearted acting style than what the original Boba Fett would have been. So yeah, he was going to be a little different. That's just my take on it. I don't either. DJ, I don't either. I don't blame. I'm not blaming the actor at all. I'm not blaming Tamara Morrison. Like I said, I love Tamara Morrison. I think he's awesome. In fact, if he ever shows up at a con, I'd love to get a picture with him and be able to meet him in person. Yeah, I think he's a great dude. The writing, they were just trying to come up with something for that, and I think they might have gone just a little weird with it.
Oh, so, yeah. Damn, Tina.
Now, you know what I think? Honestly, I think if they'd have gotten rid of the Power Rangers, I think it would have been fine.
Yeah. Tina says, I would rather watch Reva and Obi-Wan than those sisters.
Wow. Wow.
That is rough. Oh,
God.
man.
That is rough.
That's bad. Okay.
Yeah, I think if they'd have gotten rid of the Power Rangers in Book of Boba Fett, I think we would have been fine. And everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say the Power Rangers, because that was the worst part.
Matthew.
What do you say?
You're overhyped. You're overrated.
It's all about the vintage mail away action figure. Awesome action figure. Still the most overrated character.
What? DJ, you know what? Screw you
you two, I swear to God, you guys are going to trigger this dude, and it's not my fault. I didn't do it.
I'm kicking you off the Discord. Not really.
Banned.
Okay.
Banned.
So next week. Okay, we're all done talking about this arc, but next week, we are going to be talking. Well, crap. I thought I had this picture ready, but apparently not. We're going to be talking about, of course, if you've been paying attention, we're doing a Clone Wars final season recap, and we are going to be talking about the final story arc in the Clone Wars final season. So this is where we go to Mandalore, and eventually we're going to see Ahsoka fighting Darth Maul.
That is going to be a good one. I think if you were patient enough with us to get through this part, really next week, with any luck next week.
Everybody's going to say that this was a filler episode of Rebel Nerd Radio.
Yeah, no shit. No, the next week's going to be fun. The next week's going to be a good conversation because there was so many epic things that went on with in season 7 that involved Darth Maul, Ahsoka, Anakin, Darth Vader. Yeah. There was a lot of epic stuff that happened on that. So yeah, next week's conversation is going to be fun. It's going to be a good conversation, I think.
After that, I'm not sure what we've got planned, but I'm
we
sure
were
we'll
gonna
figure it
we
out
were gonna
between now and
start
then.
we were gonna start a series on ships of the Empire, rebellion, smugglers, things like that.
We will get to it.
Yeah,
We
we'll
will
get
get
to
to
it.
it.
We'll get to it.
Um,
Apparently, for those of you who pay attention to the news, we have a new Lego show that we're going to have to watch here coming up here in the next few months.
that's right.
Yep. So, yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for this, everybody. Yeah. Joy says, if I was a kid on Tatooine, I probably would have loved to have joined the mods because what else are you going to do? Sure. So, yeah, next week, final arc of final season of Clone Wars. Thanks, everybody, for coming in, talking with us in the chat room. And thanks, everybody out there, for watching us on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe and smash that like button. And make sure you come back. Tell all your friends to subscribe. We need the subscribers. And be back next week for more Clone Wars madness. See you next time. And thanks for watching. And may the Force be with you.